Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Thunder Today YouTube channel. I am your host, Dylan Hibbard, and in today's video, we are going to go over some more talk about the Wemby versus Chet rivalry that the NBA is going to market. We'll go a bit more into that. We'll talk about the KD and OKC Thunder beef. We'll talk about how that might be getting sparked up with KD to the Rockets and now opening night and all that to do with it. We will talk about the possibility of the expansion draft and who the Thunder might have to let go if that were the case coming up in a few years. And then we will talk about, at the end, just a little bit about NBC and their new deal with the NBA and all of that. And also during this video, just letting you guys know that there is some storms where I'm at right now. So if you hear some thunder or anything like that in the background, we are experiencing the storms where we are at currently. But we'll get into the Wemby versus Chet talk about if the NBA is marketing it correctly, because I really think this can be a thing where if the NBA does it correctly, if the Spurs take the right jumps like the Thunder have to build a young team and to contend for the next 5 to 10 years, it can without a doubt be one of those rivalries that the NBA markets and benefits off of, not only for the international versus USA side because Chet is American and Wemby is international from France, but they're both aliens. They were both battling out for Rookie of the Year, and Chet would have won Rookie of the Year many other years if it wasn't for being the same his same rookie year being during Wemby's same rookie year. So if you didn't have a generational rookie campaign from Wemby, Chet would have won Rookie of the Year, no doubt. And because of that, these two are going to be linked throughout their entire careers because the way they're built. They're both over 7 foot. They both have insane defensive capabilities. Wemby's probably already the best defender in the world. Chet's probably a top 5 at worst, top 10 defender in the world, and they're both so young and they're both only getting better. Wemby has that GOAT potential. I think Chet at his best can be a guy who's an all NBA guy and looking at the pipe of averaging 22 and 10 with 3.5, 4 blocks at his best season. So for the NBA, it's being able to market it, and they've started out. It looks like they're going to try to do that now with them announcing that the Spurs and Thunder will be playing on Christmas and all that. So you're looking at that, and it's the second game of the day. So you're looking at that 2:30 slot. A lot of times, that's when people get on. So that's the first of the big marquee matchups technically second, but first of the Western Conference games. So just something to continue to watch and see how the NBA is going to approach their marketing campaign or their marketability to the Wemby versus Chet rivalry down the road for years to come. But we'll transition now into some KD beef with OKC once again. And a lot of this has to sting from the fact that it was announced over the weekend that the Houston Rockets will be the team the Thunder play on opening night when they raise their banner and get their rings for the championship. And obviously now KD is on the Houston Rockets. So now that brings back the Twitter side of things where fans are on Twitter talking about KD and things like this, and KD goes on Twitter and replies to a Thunder Twitter fan account that's pretty popular on X and the Thunder side of Twitter if you're on that side, and he just chirps back talking about how it's about time that it only took 10 years for OKC to get a ring, and it's just kind of funny to hear that because of how he left things and saying it took 10 years, but him leaving us in that matter was just it's kind of funny to hear it. And now it kind of adds to that spark of KD's hatred for OKC and the fans' hatred for KD to spark back up, especially now that he's on a contending team. We weren't worried about the Suns whatsoever as a championship and playoff caliber team, and now that he's on the Rockets, they're looking to contend with us and the Nuggets as those top 3 teams. We're going to be battling it out all year for those top 3 seeds, and getting that 1 seed is going to be massive when it comes down to the Western Conference semifinals or Western Conference finals, when if you get into another Game 7 situation like you did with the Nuggets, you have that home court advantage in the Paycom where you have the best home court advantage, the best fans in the league at that point. So it's going to be something for the Thunder to kind of pay attention to. And it was just kind of funny to see on Twitter how Katie is already talking crap on the Thunder now that this news has come out about them raising the banner. So it's only going to fuel a fire for him. I'm sure he's going to come out ready to play, and the Thunder, like I said in yesterday's video, are going to have to be ready to come and play on opening night, because the Rockets will be ready to take that first opening night game from us if we are not ready for it. So we will transition now into the third topic and kind of talking hypotheticals. And when the expansion draft happens, there's been a lot of news surrounding the NBA and when or if they will get an expansion draft, and Seattle's at the top of that list. And for an expansion draft, if you guys don't know, if there are 2 expansion teams added, there will be an expansion draft, and teams currently will only be able to keep 8 players on their roster. So for the Thunder, that becomes a problem, because obviously the Thunder have 15 guys that are good quality NBA players, and when you look at the list of who the Thunder would potentially keep, you're going to keep your big 3 of Shea, J-Dub, and Chet. We're going to assume you're going to keep Dort and Hartenstein just because of their value and they're in the starting 5. And then it kind of comes, who are the 3 you're going to keep off the bench? I would feel very confident that Wallace is one of those 3, and I think Aaron Wiggins is one of those 3. I think those are your 2, and then you're kind of in that last spot of, do you protect a Caruso, but he's also the oldest guy on the team who's going to more than likely be declining in the next year or 2 towards the end of that contract? Or do you go protect a guy like Topic, Sorber, Mitchell, a young guy who you believe you can build around? Or maybe it's an Isaiah Joe, Jay Will. I believe in this scenario they would go for a Thomas Sorber. I feel like, or a Topic. I feel like those are the 2 guys you're kind of picking between. I think whoever has the better seasons, whatever it might be, 2 or 3 seasons up to that point, they would keep, and whoever's more valuable at that point. But I mean, at that point, you're letting the expansion teams have a possibility of getting Caruso, Isaiah Joe, Jay Will, Kenrich Williams, and a lot of those guys will go. They will realize that those are Thunder players and they are good quality players, and you're going to be able to get butts and seats when you're in Seattle, when you're able to get those names where people are going to recognize them now, especially since the Thunder have won. They're going to recognize who those names are. So if that were to come up here in the next few years, the Thunder could potentially have some very tough decisions on, if you're only able to keep 8 players, who would those 8 be? Because that's essentially your starting 5 and the main 3 guys you run off the bench come playoff time. So for the Thunder, it was Caruso, Wallace, and Wiggins for this playoff run. So would you keep those 3 in the starting 5, or would you potentially switch out a Topic or Sorber now for the young guys, for maybe a Hartenstein, and get off of that contract? You guys will have to let me know down below who you think the Thunder would keep at that situation, or who they might let go in that situation as well. But then we'll kind of wrap things up talking about NBC and their new deal starting with the NBA and them streaming games. They are actually going to be opening night NBA when the Thunder play the Rockets, like we talked about, and the Warriors-Lakers for the doubleheader. Opening night will be on NBC. So for people who have Peacock, they are obviously associated. So if you have Peacock, I'm assuming you're going to get a lot of extra NBA content. If you don't have Peacock, if you are interested in NBA stuff, it's probably going to be another streaming platform that you need to get. So just something to kind of look out for. Their first games will be opening night. So the Thunder Rockets will be the very first game the NBA streams on NBC. So kind of another historic thing that the Thunder will be a part of. So just kind of letting you guys know. So if you are a person that loves the NBA and don't have Peacock, you might consider getting it, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of extra NBA content, whether it's games or whatever that might be, on the Peacock and NBC side of things. But that'll be it for me today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.